Good morning. Bonne journée. Please take your seats. The firefighter procession will begin shortly. S'il vous plaît, veuillez maintenant vous asseoir. Le défilé des pompiers va bientôt débuter. Please remain seated. Uniformed personnel will rise and pay compliments to the colors and may be seated once the colors pass. Prière de demeurer assis. Des membres en uniforme salueront au passage de le cortège des drapeaux et ils pourront par la suite se rasseoir. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the national anthem? Mesdames et messieurs, s'il vous plaît, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne national du Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. S'il vous plaît, vous allez s'asseoir. My name is Mike McKenna, Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation Second Vice President, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's ceremony. On behalf of the Executive and the Board of Directors of the Canadian Fallen Firefighter Foundation, welcome to the 16th Canadian Firefighters Annual Memorial Ceremony. I would like to introduce our dignitaries for today's ceremony. Bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Mike McKenna et je suis le deuxième vice-président de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service et je serai aujourd'hui votre maître de cérémonie. Au nom du comité exécutif et du conseil d'administration de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service, je tiens à vous souhaiter la plus cordiale bienvenue à la 16e cérémonie annuelle à la mémoire des pompiers canadiens. Mais avant de débuter, laissez-moi vous présenter nos dignitaires pour la cérémonie d'aujourd'hui. Representing the Government of Canada, représentant le gouvernement du Canada, the Honorable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Ministre de l'Environnement et du Changement climatique. Representing our honorary host, représentant l'hôte honoraire de la cérémonie d'aujourd'hui, Fire Chief Brad Yoakum, Wallace District Fire Department, President, Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs. Le chef, directeur incendie Brad Yoakum, du service d'incendie du district de Wallace, président de l'Association des chefs pompiers du Manitoba. Representing the Canadian Fallen Firefighter Foundation, our President, Fire Chief, retired Dave Sheen. Le président de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service, directeur incendie à la retraite, M. David Sheen. In the seated area, I would now like to introduce some special guests. I would ask them to stand when their name is called. Et parmi l'assistance, j'aimerais souligner la présence de quelques invités spéciaux que j'invite à se lever lorsque leur nom sera appelé. The Honorable Wayne Easter, Member of Parliament, Malpeque, Prince Edward Island. Honorable Wayne Easter, député de Malpec, l'île du Prince-Édouard. Malheureusement, il n'est pas parmi nous. The Honorable Lorne Kusugok, Minister of Community and Government Service, Nunavut. L'Honorable Lorne Kusugok, Ministre des Services communautaires et gouvernementaux du Nunavut. Ms. Constance Houry, Deputy Minister of Community and Government Service, Nunavut. Mademoiselle Constance Houry, sous-ministre des Services communautaires et gouvernementaux du Nunavut. Canadian Forces Fire Marshal, Lieutenant Colonel Lee Goodman, representing the National Defense, Fire Service, military and civilian firefighters, and the Council of Canadian Fire Marshals and Fire Commissioners. Le directeur du service incendie des Forces canadiennes, le lieutenant-colonel Lee Goodman, représentant tous les pompiers militaires et civils de la Défense nationale, ainsi que le Conseil canadien des directeurs provinciaux et des commissaires des incendies. Fire Chief Pierre Voisine, Director, Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs. Le directeur incendie Pierre Voisine, directeur de l'Association canadienne des chefs pompiers. Mr. John McKee, Treasurer, Canadian Volunteer Fire Services Association. Mr. John McKee, Trésorier de l'Association canadienne des services d'incendie volontaires. Kim Connors, Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center. Mr. Kim Connors, du Centre Interservice des Feux de forêt du Canada. Mr. Scott Marks, International Association of Firefighters. Mr. Scott Marks de l'Association internationale des pompiers. Mr. Seth Statler, Treasurer, United States National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Mr. Seth Statler, Trésorier de la Fondation nationale des pompiers morts en service des États-Unis. Mr. John Granby, Chair of the United States National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, Partner Council, Board Member, First Responder Center for Excellence in Reducing Occupational Illness and Death. Mr. John Granby, Président du Conseil consultatif de la Fondation nationale des pompiers morts en service des États-Unis et membre du Centre des répondants au service pour l'excellence dans l'exécution de la réduction des maladies et des décès liés au travail. M. Jocelyn Lucier, vice-président de la Fondation québécoise des intervenants de sécurité incendie. M. Jocelyn Lucier, vice-président Quebec Federation of Firefighters. As we do every year at this time, the Foundation's first Vice President, Doug Wiley, and myself will now read the names of those firefighters added to the Canadian Firefighters Memorial. Comme à chaque année, le premier vice-président de la Fondation, M. Doug Wiley, et moi-même ferons maintenant la lecture des noms de tous les pompiers qui ont été ajoutés au monument des pompiers canadiens depuis la dernière cérémonie.
Good morning. Starting with the province of British Columbia, Assistant Chief Donald Baxter, Nanaimo Fire Rescue, Captain Karl Heinz Bessler, Richmond Fire Rescue, Chief Training Officer Robert Chaplain, Vancouver Fire and Rescue Services. Fire Chief Richard Couch, Victoria Fire Department. Assistant Chief Alan Cross, Richmond Fire Department. Captain Leslie Dion, Surrey Fire Department. Captain Harjinder Guman, Vancouver Fire and Rescue Services, Province of Alberta. Captain Glenn Adams, Calgary Fire Department. Captain Willie Brown, Strathcona County Emergency Services. Platoon Chief Don Carpenter, Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services. Captain Marcel Lampin, Edmonton Fire Rescue. Division Chief Donald McDougall, Calgary Fire Department. Division Chief Douglas Robb, Calgary Fire Department. District Chief David Rothery, Calgary Fire Department. Province of Saskatchewan, Captain Joseph Cook, Regina Fire Department. Province of Manitoba, Senior Firefighter Stephen Glover, Winnipeg Fire Department. Province of Ontario, Captain Larry Anderson, Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. Captain Wayne Arnold, London Fire Department. Fire Chief Robert Barr, London Fire Department. District Chief Edward Batten, former City of East York. Captain George Boulanger, Scarborough Fire Department. Platoon Chief Kenneth Botellier, Niagara Falls Fire Department. Firefighter Ronald Bowman, Hamilton Fire Department. Captain James Brown, Etobicoke Fire Department. Captain James A. Brown, Chatham, Kent Fire Department. Captain Garnet Cannon, Niagara Falls Fire Department. Captain Ken Carr, Arran Pryor Fire Department. District Chief John Carrier, Ottawa Fire Department. Firefighter Tim Catterall, Burlington Fire Department. Captain Lawrence Collier, Brantford Fire Department. Firefighter Scott Daly, Toronto Fire Services. Captain George Dunk, Brighton Fire and Rescue. Firefighter Gaston Duval, Sudbury Fire Services. Captain Les Ened, London Fire Department. Captain Kerry Elliott, North Bay Fire Department. Captain Graham Emsley, Sarnia Fire Rescue Service. Fire Inspector Robert Friday, Toronto Fire Services. District Chief Terrence Hagan, Stony Creek, Station Number 12. Captain Vincent Hart, London Fire Department. Assistant Chief John Hickey, Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. Captain Richard Holmes, Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. Assistant Chief Jack Carn, Centre Wellington Fire Rescue. District Chief Robert Kerr, Hamilton Fire Department. Captain Lauren Martin, Markham Fire and Emergency Services. Captain Ian McCament, Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. Captain Jack McClay, Oakville Fire Department. Lieutenant Jim McCutcheon, City of Hamilton Fire Department. Captain James McLaughlin, Toronto Fire Services. Captain Ron Milroy, former City of York. Platoon Chief Edward Moore, Toronto Fire Services. District Chief James O'Halloran, Etobicoke Fire Department. Platoon Chief Ford Peacock, St. Catharines Fire and Emergency Services. Firefighter Gregory Phillips, Hamilton Fire Department. Firefighter Larry Power, Hamilton Fire Department. Chief Fire Prevention Officer Peter Reed, London Fire Department. Captain Dave Scott, Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. Platoon Chief Thomas Thompson, York Fire Department. District Chief Charles Topliff, Windsor Fire Department. Fire Prevention Officer David Very, London Fire Department.
De la province de Québec, Lieutenant Rémi Arsenault, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Gérard Barré, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Capitaine Gérard Bélanger, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Michel Dufresne, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Georges Duplain, Service de protection contre les incendies de la Ville de Québec. Capitaine Normand Gosselin, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Jean-Pierre Harvey, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Lieutenant Thomas Hughes, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Luigi Lalente, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Lieutenant Maurice Labarre, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Lieutenant Pierre Laberge, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Le pompier Léonard Lebel, Service de protection contre les incendies de la Ville de Québec. Pompier Denis Leblond, Service de protection contre les incendies de la Ville de Québec. Pompier Pierre Massé, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Pompier Aldéric Morissette, Service de protection contre les incendies de la Ville de Québec. Capitaine Normand Roy, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. Lieutenant Serge Thibault, Service de sécurité incendie de Montréal. From Newfoundland and Labrador, Firefighter Aubrey Cooper, Gander Fire Rescue. From Nova Scotia, Captain Richard Walsh, Kentville, Volunteer Fire Department. Prince Edward Island, Captain Willard McPhail, North River Fire Department. I now introduce Fire Chief Retired David Sheen, President of the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Je vous présente maintenant le directeur incendie à la retraite, M. David Sheen, Président de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service.
Thank you and good morning, Minister McKenna, Chief Yoakum, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, but above all, our families. On behalf of the Board of Directors, ambassadors, and supporters of the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation, it is my honor and privilege to welcome everyone to this, the 16th Annual Canadian Firefighters Memorial Ceremony and 3rd Firefighters National Memorial Day, as we honor and remember those firefighters who died in the service of their community. It is an honor to have the Combined Fire Services of Manitoba as this year's honorary host, as they help us to honor our fallen. Special thanks to Manitoba and the Foundation Ceremony Committee for today's event. Please take the time to check your program for the dedicated people, organizations, sponsors, and companies that help us to make this annual ceremony, and indeed all of the Memorial Weekend, a success. As members of the fire service, we enjoy a reputation in our communities that has largely been earned by those that came before us, and indeed, those that paid the ultimate price for their service. So our most noble act in return is to sign up for service, knowing that, like them, it may come at a very high price. Our responsibility is to honor and remember them and to aid and assist those left behind. This service today is in the finest of traditions of the fire service to remember our fallen firefighters regardless of the circumstances. Firefighters from coast to coast to coast of our great nation, such as Obadiah from Newfoundland, to Daryl from British Columbia, to Luti from Nunavut. Firefighters from all facets of the fire service are often the leaders of their communities and put the safety and well-being of others ahead of themselves, making a great contribution to their community. Much more than just responding to calls. And when they pass, suddenly or not, they are missed by their families and by the fire service, who truly know the sacrifice they made to serve their communities 24 hours a day. While the fire service in particular, and Canadians in general, honor and remember our fallen with this ceremony and monument, we must not forget their families. Today, the Canadian Fire Service, facilitated by the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation, acknowledges the sacrifice made by these families who lost a loved one in the service of their community, and is committed to continue our support with our education and other family support programs. To you, the families, we say thank you. Always remember that you remain a part of our Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation family.
Madame la ministre de Canada, chef Yokum, distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, mais surtout vous, nos familles spéciales. Au nom du comité du conseil administratif, des ambassadeurs et des supporters de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service, c'est pour moi un honneur et un privilège de vous souhaiter à tous la plus cordiale bienvenue à cette 16e cérémonie annuelle à la mémoire des pompiers canadiens et à la 3e édition du jour commémoratif national des pompiers, alors que nous rassemblons pour conférer tout l'honneur dû aux pompiers morts en service de leur collectivité et pour perpétuer leurs souvenirs. C'est un honneur d'avoir le service d'incendie intégré du Manitoba comme hôte honoraire de la cérémonie de cette année et pour nous aider à rendre hommage à nos disparus. Un merci spécial au Manitoba et au comité de cérémonie de la Fondation pour l'événement d'aujourd'hui. Je vous invite à consulter votre programme pour connaître les personnes, les organismes, les commanditaires et les entreprises qui se dévouent pour nous aider à faire de cette cérémonie annuelle. Et en faire de toute fin de semaine commémoratif un franc succès. En tant que membre du service d'incendie, nous jouissons dans nos communautés d'une réputation qui est grande partie a été méritée par ceux qui ont précédé, et dans les faits, par tous ceux qui ont consenti au sacrifice ultime. Donc, notre geste le plus noble en retour, c'est d'adhérer au service sachant, tout comme eux, que cela peut se faire moyennement à un prix très élevé. Notre responsabilité est de les honorer et de nous souvenir d'eux et de venir en aide à ceux et celles qui restent derrière. La cérémonie d'aujourd'hui s'inscrit dans la plus pure tradition des services d'incendie qui consiste à se rappeler et commémorer ceux qui tombaient au champ d'honneur et ce, peu importe les circonstances. Des pompiers partout au pays, d'un océan à l'autre, tout comme Obadiah de Terre-Neuve, Darrow de Colombie-Britannique et de Luty du Nunavut. Les pompiers de tous les secteurs du service d'incendie sont souvent les chefs de file dans leur communauté. Ils font passer la sécurité et leur bien-être des autres avant tout. Et leur contribution à la collectivité y est remarquable et va bien au-delà d'avoir à répondre aux appels. Et quand ils nous quittent, soudainement ou autrement, leurs familles, leurs collègues du service de sécurité incendie se souviennent, sachant pleinement le sacrifice qu'ils ont consenti pour servir leur communauté 24 heures sur 24. Bien que les services d'incendie, en particulier les Canadiens en général, honorent et se souviennent de nos disparus, avec cette cérémonie et ce monument, nous ne devons pas, par ailleurs, oublier la famille. Aujourd'hui, le service d'incendie canadien reconnaît le sacrifice consenti par ces familles qui ont perdu un être cher au service de leur collectivité et s'engage de l'entremise de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service à continuer de soutenir le programme d'éducation et de soutien aux familles. À vous, les familles, nous vous disons merci. N'oubliez jamais que vous faites partie de la grande famille de la Fondation canadienne des pompiers morts en service. And now representing our honorary host, Fire Chief Brad Yoakum, Wallace District Fire Department, President, Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs, et maintenant représentant l'hôte honoraire, le directeur incendie Brad Yoakum, du service d'incendie du district de Wallace et président de l'Association des chefs des pompiers du Manitoba.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, fellow firefighters, friends and families of those that we honor today. It is my honor to address you today as the President of the Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs. I do represent the entire province of Manitoba and the Fire Service. We are privileged to be the honorary host of the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation Memorial today. For many of our committee members, today this is their first experience attending this ceremony, and it will be one that they will not soon forget. The Manitoba Fire Service consists of over 230 fire departments, a blend of 2 career, 2 composite, and the balance being paid on call, volunteer, and industrial fire departments. Regardless if we are volunteer, paid on call, or career firefighters, you must remember that fire does not differentiate between the type of service we work for. We need to be vigilant in our training and use it to make our responses as safe as possible to ensure that all of our firefighters go home at the end of every day to their families. On the memorial wall today, we remember all of those that have lost their lives in the line of duty. We recognize that on the wall are the names of 89 Manitoba firefighters, including Captain Harold Lessard and Captain Tom Nichols of the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service, who lost their lives in a house fire in 2007. We also need to work hard at taking care of our firefighters after the call. We are exposed daily to horrific and stressful events which can take a toll on our firefighters and their families. We need to take care of our fire family as well as our home family, to ensure a long and healthy career. We have gathered here today to remember and honor those of our comrades that have made the ultimate sacrifice and to comfort their friends and families. We thank them for their sacrifice and to recognize them as heroes by placing their names on this great monument. To all firefighters in this great country, may God bless you all and keep you safe. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce, et maintenant le grand plaisir de vous présenter, the Honorable, l'Honorable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Ministre de l'Environnement et du Changement climatique.
Distinguished guests, all the firefighters who are here, members of the fire service, and of course, to the families. It's my real honor to be here, not only as Minister of Environment and Climate Change, but also as a Member of Parliament for Ottawa Centre, where we are. And it's been a real privilege over the last few years to meet and work with firefighters and other first responders. 3 years ago, the Firefighters National Memorial Day was established. And on the second Sunday of every September, Canadian flags fly at half-mast to honor and to remember the sacrifices of your community. As we mark this third annual National Firefighters Memorial Day, may the flags at half-mast across the country remind all of us of those who've lost their lives in duty, those represented by their families here today, but also of the sacrifice, dedication, and bravery that marks all firefighters across Canada, including all of you that we have the fortune to be with today. It is a permanent and public commemoration that honors the sacrifice of every Canadian firefighter who's died in the line of duty since 1848. Quand on met le drapeau en berne, il s'agit d'un rappel pour chacun d'entre nous, de ceux qui ont perdu la vie dans l'exercice de leurs fonctions, mais aussi du sacrifice, du dévouement et de la bravoure qui caractérisent tous les pompiers tout autour du Canada. For those of you from the Ottawa area, I'm sure you remember many examples of how firefighters have responded to a medical emergency, a car accident, hazardous spill, a flood. Here in Ottawa, firefighters were at the scene of the tragic West Road bus crash. And I can only imagine how challenging it is after the fact to deal with what you saw. Firefighters also were sandbagging in the Gatineau area during the floods this spring. And every day you contribute to making our community better. On voit tout autour de nous les pompiers qui jouent un rôle très important dans leur communauté pour protéger les gens, mais aussi de contribuer à faire un mieux communauté. I increasingly see in my role the role of firefighters, that you are being asked to respond to many natural disasters, not just here in Canada, but abroad. Forest fires and floods in places where we might not expect them. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you on behalf of Canadians. And I know there'll be firefighters responding right now after we've seen what happened with Hurricane Dorian out east. To the families, I can only imagine how hard this is for you. That we're honoring 10 of a fallen from all parts of our country. and so many others. That we know it's not just those who are fallen, but it's the families and the communities that are hurting. And that's why we won't forget. We will remember the sacrifice, we'll inscribe your names, but you can know that they're inscribed in the hearts of all Canadians. That what you have contributed, what your family members have contributed, it's making a huge difference to build our really great country. And I know it's hard. I even saw friends from Pond Inlet. First time in Nunavut, you have a fallen firefighter inscribed. And I know it hurts not just the family, but it hurts the whole community. That we recognize your sacrifice, and we thank you for it. And we also recognize that our government has a very important role to play in supporting you. That there are a number of different initiatives that would not have been possible without the support of so many of you. That whether it is the memorial, the Firefighting Community Memorial Grant for first responders, Canada's new action plan on post-traumatic stress injuries for safety personnel, these reflect Canadians' profound respect for the service. But there's more work to do, and we're certainly committed to doing that. And I really want to thank the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation. I want to thank you for making this possible. I want to thank you for bringing everyone together. It is extraordinarily important that we remember. C'est tellement important que nous sommes ici ensemble, faisant un témoignage des familles et des collectivités qui unissent auprès de tous les pompiers de notre pays. On behalf of all Canadians, on behalf of me personally, the Government of Canada, we thank all of you. And we look forward to working with the firefighting community in the years to come. Merci.
We will now honor those active firefighters added to the Canadian Firefighters Memorial this year. Nous allons maintenant rendre hommage à tous ces pompiers qui ont fait l'ultime sacrifice alors qu'ils étaient en service actif. Captain Thomas Ford, Toronto Fire Services, Ontario. Firefighter Trevor Schneider, South Bruce Fire Rescue, Ontario. Captain Brian Congus, Richmond Fire and Rescue, British Columbia. District Chief Richard Jennings, Kelowna Fire Department, British Columbia. Chief Fire Prevention Officer Nicholas Webb, Whitby Fire and Emergency Services, Ontario. Pompier Carmel Moreau, Témiscouata sur le Lac, Fire Service, Québec. Captain Luti Makpa, Pond Inlet Fire Department, Nunavut. Firefighter Darrell Drake, Cobble Hill, British Columbia. Firefighter Obadiah Skiffington, Musgrave Volunteer Fire Department, Newfoundland. Firefighter Darrell Morrison, Rosetown Fire Department, Saskatchewan. In the past, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of a firefighter shift, sounded each alarm when the call was completed. When a firefighter had died in the line of duty, it was the toll of the bell that solemnly announced the comrade's passing. And so, to those who have selflessly given their lives for the good of their fellow man, their tasks completed, their duties well done, to our comrades, the last alarm, they are going home. Autrefois, c'était la cloche qui signalait le début du corps de travail des pompiers qui faisait retenir chaque alarme. Elle encore qui marquait la fin des appels. Et, lorsque leur pompier mourait dans l'exercice de ses fonctions, c'était cette même cloche qui annonçait le deuil du camarade. Ainsi, en est-il pour ceux et celles qui ont consenti au don de leur vie pour leurs semblables, leur tâche étant achevée, leur devoir bien accompli. Pour vous, chers camarades, votre dernière alarme est venue. Vous pouvez maintenant rentrer. Please rise for the playing of the last toast. S'il vous plaît, veuillez vous lever pour l'interprétation de la dernière sonnerie. Please be seated. S'il vous plaît, veuillez vous asseoir. We now call on Bruce Rushton, Chaplain, Canadian Fallen Firefighter Foundation, and Captain Alex Lawanowitz, Unit Chaplain, Canadian Forces Support Unit, Ottawa. J'invite maintenant l'aumônier de la Fondation, M. Bruce Rushton, le capitaine Alex Lawanowitz, l'aumônier de l'unité de soutien des forces canadiennes, Ottawa.
It is truly an honor for me to be here again this year. I had the privilege of being in one of the best fire halls and cities out of 800 firefighters. And I served in there for 20 years. In my heart, we lived with them, rode with them, shared with them, prayed with them, hurt with them. I want to read a brief poem and then the firefighter's prayer. With hope. This is not at all how we thought it would be. We had so many plans and we had so many dreams. And now you've gone away and left us with the memories of a smile. And nothing we can do, and nothing we can say can take away the pain of losing you. But we can cry with hope. We can say goodbye with hope, because we know a goodbye is not the end. Oh no, we can give with hope, because we believe with hope. There's a place by God's grace of where we will see you again, and we'll see your face once again. We come today to thank you for your beloved firefighters who are daily at alert to the ferocious fires and all of the destroy that goes on, and accidents and damage and hurt in the communities. They are so loyal and true, they stay ready to protect and to defend from the beginning of whatever day might be till they go off their shift, whether in small towns or big cities or forestries, as they daily stand on guard and wait and wait and wait, as they rush into emergencies, as they go in with engines for disaster, whether there's a blaze or whether it's large or small, they always are committed to give of themselves. And after fire has been quenched and they return to the station, we pray for refreshing times each day the Lord may give to them and wisdom as they serve. The firefighter's prayer. When I am called to duty, God, wherever flames may rage, give me the strength to save someone's life, whatever be their age. Help me to embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and to hear the weakest shout, then quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling, Lord, to give the best in me, to guard my every neighbor and protect their property. And if according to your will, while I on duty, I must answer death's call, bless with your protected hand my family, one and all.
Ce mariage est un témoignage pour vous, les familles, de ces personnes. Les familles qui se tenaient à côté tous les pompiers de ce pays. Parce que la fraternité des pompiers n'arrête pas à la porte de la caserne. Il s'attend à toutes les communautés de notre pays. à chaque maman et à chaque papa, à chaque conjoint, à chaque enfant qui entend que son proche rentre à la maison après un quart de travail. Vous êtes tous unis par un lien indéfectible de force et de sacrifice. Regardez autour de vous. Ceci est votre famille aussi. C'est à la lumière de cette force que nous pouvons entendre la prière des pompiers. Quand le devoir m'appelle, Dieu mon ami, et que les flammes sans pitié ravagent, donne-moi la force de sauver les vies et surtout de ne jamais perdre courage. Avec toi, j'atteins avant qu'il ne soit trop tard le petit enfant blessé, le malheureux vieillard. Qu'il me soit permis, dans ta générosité, de leur épargner l'horreur de cette destinée, puisqu'en tout temps, il me faut être en alerte. Je t'en prie, Seigneur, guide tous mes gestes. Dans la tumulte infernale de l'incendie, mais fais-moi entendre le plus faible des cris. C'est avec toi que je remplirai ma destinée. Sauver des vies. Ce n'est pas la plus beau des métiers. Quand le calme revient et que chacun retrouve ses biens, c'est alors que je serai fier d'avoir aidé mon prochain. S'il arrivait que par ta volonté, ma vie je sois obligé de donner, je te prie de veiller sur les mains et de bénir en moi le pompier qui est tien. Amen.
Before we conclude today's ceremony with the firefighters recessing and a salute to the families, this year's honorary host, Representative Fire Chief Brad Yoakum, will pass the all-fallen helmet to our 2020 honorary host, Fire Chief Stephen Dongworth, of the Calgary Fire Department. Avant de conclure la cérémonie d'aujourd'hui, le représentant de l'autre honoraire de cette année, le chef des pompiers, Brad Yoakum, va maintenant effectuer la transmission du casque tenant lieu de tous les pompiers décédés aux représentants du service incendie de Calgary, l'hôte honoraire de l'édition 2020 de cette cérémonie, directeur incendie Steve Dongworth. Please remain seated. Uniformed personnel will rise and pay compliments to the colors and may be seated once the colors pass. Veuillez demeurer assis. Les membres en uniforme se lèveront debout et salueront au passage du cortège des drapeaux et pourront par la suite se rasseoir.